She hugged you. And in that moment, you failed a test you didn't know you were taking. Not because you did something wrong technically, your arms went around her. You held on for an appropriate amount of time. You let go when she did. Perfectly executed, completely missed. Because what she was offering in that hug wasn't physical contact. It was an emotional question. And the way your body answered, the tension in your shoulders, the distraction in your presence, the mechanical quality of the embrace, gave her an answer she didn't want. 99% of men treat a hug like a greeting. The 1% who understand what it actually is, those are the men women describe as feeling like home. Today, you join that 1%. You've been physically present in hugs while being emotionally somewhere else entirely. Think about the last few times she hugged you. Really think about it. Where was your mind? Were you fully in that moment, completely present, aware of her breathing, aware of the quality of how she was holding on, or were you already somewhere else? Already thinking about the next thing, already halfway out of the moment before it even finished? Most men are. And it's not because they don't care. It's because nobody ever taught them that a hug is not a transition between two other things. It's not a greeting and it's not a goodbye. It is its own complete moment. One that carries more emotional information than most hour-long conversations. And when you're not present inside it, when your arms are there but you aren't, she feels it. She might not be able to name it immediately, but something registers. Something that feels like reaching for someone and finding a cardboard cutout instead of a person. Over time, that feeling accumulates. She stops reaching as deeply. She stops expecting the hug to give her anything. And something that could have been a wellspring of connection between you becomes just another automatic social gesture. That's not what you want. And today, we fix it. 1. Understand what she's actually asking for when she hugs you. Before you can do anything right in a hug, you need to understand what a hug actually is from her perspective, because it is almost certainly not what you think it is. When she initiates a hug, particularly in a moment of emotional weight, or at the end of a hard day, or in a moment that carries significance, she is not looking for physical warmth. She is looking for proof of presence. She wants to know, in the most animal and instinctive way possible, that you are actually here, that you are not somewhere in your head managing the 14 other things demanding your attention, that in this specific moment, she is the most real thing in your world. And the human nervous system is extraordinarily good at detecting whether that presence is genuine or performed. She knows the difference between a man whose body is in the hug and a man who is in the hug. The difference lives in the quality of his breath, the relaxation of his muscles, the weight and intention of his arms. She is asking you, are you here with me? Everything we talk about today is about how to answer that question with your whole body instead of just your arms. 2. The first thing to do, arrive before you reach. Most men reach for the hug before they've arrived in the moment. Their arms go out while their attention is still on the conversation that just ended or the one about to begin. The physical gesture happens faster than the emotional readiness for it, and the result is a hug that starts before the person inside it has actually shown up. Before your arms go around her, in that half second before contact, take one breath, a real one. Feel your feet on the ground. Let whatever was occupying your mind drain down and away from the surface. This takes less than 2 seconds. It is invisible to anyone watching. But she will feel the difference between a man who arrived before he reached and a man who reached without arriving. That brief internal landing, that conscious choice to be present before being physical, is the first and most important thing you can change about the way you hug her. 3. The way your arms hold her says everything. There is a version of a hug where the arms perform a gesture. They go around, they maintain contact, they complete the shape of an embrace. But they don't hold. They don't communicate anything with the pressure and intention of the contact itself. And then there is a version where the arms actually receive her, where the embrace has weight and warmth and the quality of someone who means to be there. The difference is not about strength. It's about intention moving through the arms. When you hold her with the part of you that chose to be in this relationship, with the part that knows what she's been carrying this week, with the part that is glad, specifically consciously glad, that she's the person in your arms right now. She cannot read your thoughts, but she can feel your intention through physical contact in a way that is almost impossible to describe and absolutely impossible to fake. Intention has a texture. Let it be felt. 4. Slow down the moment. Resist every impulse to rush through it. Here is the mistake that shows up most consistently in how men experience hugs. They treat the hug as a transition, something to move through on the way to the next thing. The hug ends when she releases, which is the right instinct. But the problem is often the quality of waiting for her to release, the subtle tension that communicates readiness to move on, the slight shift of weight that signals the next thing is already calling. She feels that readiness to be done. And it tells her, without words, that the hug was an obligation completed, rather than a moment genuinely inhabited. What she needs instead is the felt sense that you would stay in this embrace for as long as she needs to, that there is nowhere else your body is trying to be, that the moment isn't competing with anything. You don't have to hug longer. You have to hug with the energy of someone who has nowhere more important to be. That quality, that unhurried completeness, is what turns a hug from a gesture into an experience she carries with her afterward. 5. Your breath is a language she's already fluent in. This is the most overlooked element of physical connection in general and hugging specifically. When two people are in close physical contact, their nervous systems communicate through breath. The pace, depth, and quality of your breathing registers in her body, even if her conscious mind isn't tracking it. If your breathing is shallow and slightly held, the way breathing gets when the mind is busy or slightly tense, she registers that as unease, as guardedness, as a body that is present but not relaxed. If your breathing is slow and deep and real, the breathing of someone who has genuinely settled into a moment, she registers that as safety, as calm, as a body that has decided this moment is enough. This is why the breath is so important. It is one of the most honest things your body does, and she reads it fluently without knowing she's reading it. Breathe for real while you hold her. Not performed slowness, actual, genuine breath that comes from actually being present. Let your exhale be full. Let it release something. That release communicates to her nervous system, you are safe here. I am here. We can both breathe. 6. What to do with the silence inside the hug. A lot of men feel compelled to say something during a hug, or immediately after one, to fill the quiet with words that immediately pull both people out of the physical moment and back into the verbal one. Resist this. The silence inside a genuine embrace is not empty. It is full of the things that don't need words because the body is already saying them. And the moment you speak, you collapse that fullness back into ordinary conversation. If anything belongs in the silence of a hug, it is something very small and very real. Not a compliment, not a comment. Maybe her name, said quietly. Maybe nothing at all. Maybe just the quality of your complete attention held in stillness against her. Let the hug be its own complete language. It doesn't need translation. It needs presence. 7. After the hug, the moment most men immediately waste. The hug ends, she steps back, and here is where 99% of men immediately move on, back to the conversation, back to the phone, back to whatever was happening before. Don't. In the 2 or 3 seconds immediately after a genuine embrace, something is still open between you. The emotional door that the hug opened hasn't closed yet. And how you inhabit those seconds either honors what just passed between you or erases it. Look at her, not intensely, gently. Let your eyes hold hers for just a beat longer than casual. Let there be a half smile that says, that mattered. Let the transition back to ordinary life be gradual rather than immediate. That brief honoring of what just happened, that refusal to immediately treat the moment as finished, tells her that the hug landed in you, that it was real, that she reached someone and found someone actually there. That is the entire difference, not in the hug itself, in the 5 seconds after it. 8. The cumulative power of getting this right every time. Here's the long game truth about all of this. One perfect hug doesn't change a relationship, but 20 consecutive genuine embraces, 20 moments where she reached for you and found you actually present, actually holding her, actually breathing, actually there. Those accumulate into something profound. They build a felt sense of safety that exists between two people like a physical substance. Something she carries into the moments when you're not together. A body memory of what it feels like to be held by someone who is genuinely in the moment with her. That is the foundation of deep attachment. Not the grand romantic gestures, the consistent, present, intentional quality of the smallest physical moments between two people. She will not necessarily say, "You hug me so well." She will say, to her friend, to herself, in the quiet place where she processes how her relationship feels, "I feel so safe with him. I don't know exactly why. I just always feel like he's actually there." That is what you're building. One genuine hug at a time. She doesn't want a longer hug. She wants a real one. She doesn't need your arms to be stronger or your embrace to be more technically accomplished. She needs the person inside the arms to actually be present, to have arrived, to be breathing, to be holding her with intention rather than habit. That is the whole thing. That is the complete shift. Arrive before you reach. Hold with intention. Breathe for real. Let the silence be enough. Honor the 2 seconds after. And do it consistently enough that her nervous system learns, when he holds me, I am actually held. There is no more powerful thing you can give her in that moment, and it costs nothing but your full attention. You have it. Give it. If this shifted something in how you think about the small moments that actually build connection, subscribe. Every week on this channel, we go into the real psychology of intimacy, presence, and what it takes to make another person feel genuinely chosen. Not in the big moments, in the ones everyone else overlooks. You're paying attention. That's already everything.